Hello, I'm Allie.
I'm Deb.
Welcome to another episode of Coffee and Stilettos.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of uh, Coffee and Stilettos.
Who are
It
we? Who
feels
are we today?
it feels like a Monday, and it is a Wednesday here. That's where my head is at, and I maybe it's because the holiday season is coming, and it's just adding extra stress and adding different things. So Deb and I want to talk today about how can you plan for the holidays to reduce some stress, to have more fun and flow a little bit easier. So we have our top three things that we were thinking about and how we plan our holidays. So we'd love to know what you're doing for the holidays or any tips and tricks that maybe you could provide us, share in the comments. And of course, if you're new, I'm Allie and this is Deb, and we come on weekly to talk about just different things for work, relationships, and how we can live a little bit more with ease and flow in our lives. So, like, subscribe, or share with a friend if you find this valuable. And if you're coming back because you love and adore us, of course, thank you so much. We love you too. So, we have a few things. These are the three things that we've picked down because for holiday planning, we could go in so many different directions. Though we thought these are the top three things that we could start working on because I find, and Deb, I'd love to know your take. If you start thinking about all the things that you could start paring down and doing, it becomes its own overwhelming piece. So the first thing is just really like work takes such a big part of our lives. So how can you start planning for the holidays based on your work schedule? Is that taking time off, understanding if you're, I know for sales, sometimes it can be a wild time of the year, especially with government business, coaching, ramping up for new clients, or maybe just retail with holiday season. So, how can you get a little bit more planned and intentional with your work so that you're ending the year strong and going into the holidays with some more ease? So, Deb, what do you recommend for work and getting ready for the holidays?
I think setting realistic goals, because I think we always think that we can do it all. You have to get we're already coming to the beginning of December, which is crazy how this year seems to have flown by. And all of a sudden, the panic can come upon you. You see people with their Christmas decorations, and you have to decorate your house, and you have to do all the baking, and all that stuff can seem so overwhelming. So I think setting realistic goals and really prioritizing your work schedule, and like you said, being intentional about it. So really like time blocking, planning when you're going to be working, when you're going to, do this. Maybe you have a family dinner on this date, whatever that looks like, but not overcommitting to it either. So prioritizing your tasks, what's really important, setting realistic goals, and really having that open communication, whether you have colleagues and teams. I think it's always like, oh, I need to do XYZ by the end of the year. I don't think it needs to be such an urgent. I'm sure there are tight deadlines. I'm sure there are goals that you set, but I think that self-compassion as well, and really, like we always talk about, that prioritizing that self-care component too is really important, especially as we get into December.
I love those. And I would say if you have an out of office, or when we're talking about pre-planning, put your out of office on now. So if you know you're going to be away or you want to have them off, block it and say, hey, clients and whoever that you're speaking to, I will be out of office with outreach between these times. So please let me know what is needed. And then also take a look right now. So if you can get ahead of into things and maybe even a little bit into January, so that over the holidays, your mind isn't creeping forward of the things that you have to do or what you want to do. So when you are enjoying the holidays, maybe you have some creative inspiration because you've taken off some of your load and that stress of what's going forward because you're already starting to plan it right now. So that may work for some people. And I would say for others, if you have a role that is maybe less flexible, book one of those extra days just for yourself. Plan ahead because there is a lot of burnout that happens over the holidays. I feel like there's elevated stress as well when you think of like family dynamics and the extra things to do or budgeting, which we'll talk about. So if you don't have the same flexibility, how can you maybe take back a little bit of your time, even an afternoon or a morning, and set it aside for yourself? Be creative with it because schedules all vary. Though planning ahead right now, and once you've planned, start honoring it. I don't want to see myself and Deb or anyone else creep into those emails or the things that really don't matter at the end of the day, because then you're taking away from time from family and friends. And what will you remember at the end of the day? I doubt you'll remember that you finished that last minute email because it was something important for someone else.
That's
I'm
so
sure
true.
I'm sure your kids or your parents that maybe are aging, or the friend that you haven't seen all year, that feeling might fill your cup a little bit more. So again, look at it the perspective of where your time is. And I think when you plan ahead and you get intentional, you're just one step ahead and you can ease into the holidays with a little less stress.
I think too, that idea of perfection, everything has to be perfect. I think when we talk about setting realistic goals, like lose the idea of perfection, because what is perfection? I don't think there is perfection. And I know sometimes we talk about perfection, it's buying that perfect gift for someone and what that looks like. And I think over time for me, it's been less about the things and more about the memories. I know my sister every year gets my parents a calendar with pictures of the family in it, because a lot of times it's just stuff. And for aging parents who probably already have everything, a lot of things can come down to just memorable gifts or things that are thoughtful. And I'm very much in that. If I'm giving you a gift, I've really thought about what I'm giving you. And, my parents are also redoing their cottage. So I had an aerial shot taken. So when they build or redo the new cottage, they'll have memories of the old cottage. So I think you can think outside the box instead of budget. I think you can think into what's thoughtful and what would this person appreciate. I've also given like friends Christmas ornaments where it's had like the three of us on it, or pictures of your dog on an ornament. Like there's so many things that you can do, that you can personalize things that I think resonate more with people than some grandiose, expensive gift. But what do you think about when you come to gift giving?
Yeah, so for gift giving and keeping on a budget, I think keeping on a budget is really important, especially like we can talk about inflation and blah, 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 things like that. However, it's still, I think, regardless of where you are, like, what is the purpose of giving? What does giving mean to you? And when you want to put a budget onto it, be mindful of your own resources and what you have. And like you were saying, like you get really creative. Like I think if you're strapped for cash, or you're not sure what to do, or maybe you now have a new partner and you have a whole other side of a family to think about, like things are always ebbing and flowing. How can you get creative? And I gotta say, like, God bless TikTok and Pinterest. Like we don't
You would
advertise for
laugh if I
them.
told you I've never been on TikTok.
You
I've
gotta
never really
go
looked at
at
it.
one point. You gotta go at one point. Well, you do because you see it on Instagram and it's like leftover TikToks. It's like very Gen Z or millennial of us
That's
to
so funny.
to look at Instagram in that way. However, there's so many great ideas. And
Pinterest.
yeah, like search it up. Like if you want to have a more personalized approach. And for myself, like I am such an experienced person that myself like making time to go see friends, and we go just to a market. And I would say shopping local. I've been at the One of a Kind show in Toronto, helping a girlfriend, her in her business, Please Notes Goods. And it's been so great to see people investing into the economy, the local economy and creators, because there's so many great options and markets. And sometimes, yes, I understand maybe they are a little bit more pricing than what you would get on an online shop. However, know that that investment is an investment into our community as well. So when you're thinking gift planning and budgeting, maybe shop local. How can you go to some of these markets and have the intention to get something really great for someone? And then how could you maybe have an experience within your local area? Because there's so much to choose from. So for our stress-free planning ahead, I think is necessary when you want to shop more local, and some of these personalized gifts like the calendar. My sister-in-law as well does a calendar for us each year, and I love it. And it's
Yeah.
so sweet. And I know that takes her a lot of time, and I really appreciate it. So I know for myself, I usually get that in a little bottle of wine for her, and I absolutely adore it because it's so much care that she's taken throughout the whole entire year. So if that's a budget, for sure. However, I also think that's her taking her time throughout the whole entire year for us. So it's something to get aware of, and we have a month left. So pop online, see if there's some creative ideas that you can do for yourself and batch something, maybe have a candle making party or bath bombs party, whatever, and bring your friends in. And that could be something that you have an experience with your friends, you're giving to other people. And that's how I would plan it. And that's more of where I've been going, or investing in an experience like a concert or an event, going to the movies or something, just to enjoy time with people. And again, that takes that planning. So plan ahead and kind of know where you are right now. Like, where's your point A for resources, for your money, for your time, and start making some decisions, right? Instead of being willy-nilly with things and regretful in January.
I think even like baked goods, like if you're a baker or you're creative, those are always like, I love getting like little bags of cookies from friends who have taken the time to bake them. So, when you talk about having a bath bomb party or candle making party, you could have a cooking or baking party. You could even, like, you talk about experiences like a cooking class or a candle making class. I've done a few of those with a girlfriend, or just at a local shop where that's what they do is make different candles and body oils and stuff like that. And, those are always great experiences to do with friends too. So I love those. And sometimes you have to get into that self-care mode and just embrace the power of saying no. Avoid overcommitting. You don't have to go to every party that you're invited to. I actually really, I don't know. I'm in a different mode this season. I'm usually by this time like fully decorated. My son actually put up the decorations. I don't have my tree up. My son put up the outside decoration. So I'm not sure I've fully embraced the holiday season yet, but I also am being very intentional that with a lot of like just other personal things going on, I don't plan on attending a lot of parties. I'd rather have a friend in, cook dinner, have a glass of wine, or have some of those more intimate and personal experiences rather than going to a bar or gala or party where there's so many people. And maybe that sounds a little bit isolating, but that's kind of how I'm feeling about this season is really just getting out and trying to enjoy nature, taking the dog out, meeting friends for coffee, stuff like that. That is more my mode this season. Doesn't mean it won't change next year, but that's kind of what I'm feeling. So for me, I think it's not overcommitting to all the invitations that you might get, or feeling like I have to be doing this in order to network for my business right now. I have a few big events coming up, and then I just plan on kind of taking it easy and flowing into the Christmas season, because I think there's so much pressure on, you have to do this on Christmas Day or Boxing Day or Christmas Eve. And I've just found, even being divorced and with a partner who is separated, that, you can't be so rigid. I think if you allow a little flow into your life, and maybe it's not on those specific days where everybody else is celebrating, I think that will, I guess, make it easier over that holiday season, especially if you're dealing with, kids from other families, or, trying to work around your exes, that can be very stressful. So losing the idea that things have to be a certain way and just being more fluid with it.
Yeah, no, but a great, and I kind of struggle sometimes when we talk about no, because there can be a yes behind it too. And I love that you're saying that you're feeling into it and things are changing. You've gone through a divorce, new partners. I have a partner that has kids, and I had a really hard time when my brother was like got married and had a kid, and I just felt like our family, like our time just wasn't and I was like you say, you gotta be flexible, and I was not flexible with Taurus, and me it was like I need this. Anyway, I go to more leaning towards when I talk about human design. If you have a strategy that is basically like a generator or mani gen, you can respond yes or no. It's trusting yourself that no, like this just isn't your opportunity to go to. And there could be the different yes right around the corner. And it's honoring yourself in what you want to do. It's not necessarily shooting yourself into things or over capacity because you don't want to let someone down. I'm saying that because that used to be my thing, like, oh, I'll let this person down, or because I got this and I don't want to miss out on this. And at the end of the day, I just wasn't enjoying things, and I missed out on times because I was too overbooked on things that I really wanted to do. So saying no could maybe open you up to an opportunity to be spontaneous and say yes somewhere else. And last year I spent Christmas snowed in with my boyfriend. It was just the two of us watching Netflix all day, and I really enjoyed it. And that was the first time that it wasn't busy, going here, traveling there. So allowing, yeah, like you said, Deb, some flexibility, some spontaneity in it within your schedule. I know if you have blended families or things like that, it could be a little bit more difficulty and the planning is necessary. However, not everything needs your time. And that's where the power of no, or maybe scaling down on your gifts. You know what? No, not every child needs a gift from the big extended family. Maybe you could do gift exchange or a secret Santa idea and bring new life to things. Or, you know what? No, I don't need to bring all these extra food because we always have too much food. And that could maybe translate into taking donations to a food bank to help families that don't have something. So I think beyond just no to events, think of like no to maybe like, why are you doing this? Like you hate doing XYZ. So no, you don't want to do this anymore. And you really love something different. So incorporate that into your holiday schedule. So that would be my tip for the power of no and welcoming in something different for your life.
And I think it's also important to prioritize your self-care and that work-life balance. And how do you navigate your self-care over the holidays? For me, I really I try and maintain my workout schedule, whether it's just, maybe it's not at the full 100% that I'd like, but I do always feel better going into a family meal, knowing that I've either at least taken the dog for a walk or got out in nature, or maybe did some like even a tailored down version of my regular workout. So maybe it's not the full 3 sets, maybe it's just 1 set through each part of the body, but at least it makes me feel better going into a family event when you say there's always too much food and we come out feeling roly-poly. So that always makes me feel good. And I used to run every Christmas morning.
You're the runner they talk about on those memes.
I'm now a fair weather runner, so maybe it will be like a Peloton in the morning or something different. But I think for me, that's always really important, and really grounding myself. When you're around family and there's so many dynamic personalities, I think for me, just grounding myself, whether it's a meditation in the morning or before I go, just to remain centered in who I am, regardless of the different personalities around, because we all know there's different personalities in a family.
That's when the great healing happens, those triggering moments. And I would just add like gratitude, like keep up with like the journaling, the gratitude, those little bits, because schedules get so like intense sometimes, or things can easily slip. So that moment in the car before you reach the doorstep of like, I am so grateful that I'm breathing and I'm sitting here and I'm calm,
Yeah.
I'm collected. Like do something right before to set your intention, to set your tone, and be intentional with your time.
I also sometimes, this might sound a little woo-woo, but just kind of ask for like a bubble of protection. So like nothing can penetrate me. Nobody can set me off. So that might sound a little woo-woo for some of you out there, but it's something I do, even going into crowds, grocery stores, malls, all of that stuff.
And for
So
people that like are not understanding, I always think of, Wizard of Oz, Glenda, how she goes in
yes,
that bubble. Like think of that as like your protection.
yes.
If they're new to it. However, I feel like our audience knows what we're talking about. Secrets.
That's awesome. Well, we hope that this has given you a few ideas to navigate your personal and professional life for the holidays, making sure that you plan ahead for work, consider your gift planning and budgeting, and then, of course, embrace the power of no, and just do the things that really resonate with you and your body and soul. So with that being said, you will find us next Thursday with another episode of Coffee and Stilettos. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And thank you so much for being with us today. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the show, please share with your friends and rate and recommend on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. There will be links to more great resources in the description.